Hey guys, I am Nishant and welcome to Cybernatico. So in this video, let's learn all about ChatGPT. I mean all that we can. How it works, what is its limitations and all. So first let's see what is ChatGPT. On Wikipedia, let's read this. So ChatGPT is a service chatbot developed by OpenAI which specializes in dialogue, and you can read all of this. So it stands for generative pre-trained transformer, was fine-tuned on top of GPT 3.5 using supervised learning as well as reinforcement learning. So I don't understand these terms, so let's go with it, because why not? So now let's learn how to use it. So we have examples, capabilities, limitations. What are the examples that we can see here is this. Let's try this. Explain quantum computing in simple terms. If you click this, it will highlight in the text box or appear in the text box. Then we can press enter or add this, click this button. So let's enter and see what we have as answer. So it says quantum computing is a type of computing that uses principles of quantum mechanics and all of these things. Like you can read this also. Fine. I don't have to go through the paragraph. So this is the answer that we are getting. That explains what is quantum computing. So now let's try this. Explain quantum computing in 30 words. If you type this query, this will explain quantum computing in 30 words. Or let's see if it can do so or not. Yes, I think it can. So quantum computing uses principle of all of these things. You can read what is this. Fine. Now let's try some simple example. Who is or what is a donkey? Let's see this. Donkey is a domesticated member of horse family, typically smaller and has longer ear than horse. You can read this as well. It is stubborn like me, but that doesn't mean I'm a donkey. Okay. So this is example that we're getting. So if you click this new thread, a new page will open, which has these also. So we can use these examples. Let's say this example. Ideas, or let's say gift ideas for my friend on his wedding, not her, his wedding. So his means is a male, her means a female. All right. There are many gift ideas for a friend on their wedding, like this: a monogram photo frame and sentimental gift. So this. So it gives us all the results as the query. Fine. So now you know what it can do. Now let's try some more complex examples or different examples. Now let's go back to our school. We had a formula. So let's try to solve this using this. What is the answer for a plus b whole square? Question mark. This will give us the answer for this, which will be, let's see. And if you see 3 dots here, it means it's thinking. So the answer for a plus b whole square is a square plus 2ab plus b square, which is known as expanding squares rule. Fine. So it can answer this as well. Fine. But the most important thing for the developers like us is this. How do I make an HTTP request in JavaScript? So let's see this. Let's keep math and English aside and see what we can get. To make an HTTP request in JavaScript, we can use this or fetch API to get like this. So we are creating an instance of XML HTTP request. Then we're opening the gateway using get request, and when this loads, we are consoling not log our response, or else we have fetch API from JavaScript. So that's how it works. Let's make this to explain what is JavaScript map. Let's see in this example what we get. This is the logo of OpenAI. As you can see, we have dark mode, the Discord server link, updates and FAQ and logouting. Here we have new thread to open a new thread. And now it gives JavaScript map is the collection of key value pairs. Okay, this is map, like an object. The example is this. Create a new map. Instance of map is getting created. Map.set to set the data like name and age properties. And to get, we can use this map.get and name. Fine. So it is giving us all of these. So now let's try something else. Let's try to give it some code and let's see if it can debug this or not. So let's say let name equals to, so let's make an object and it contains, or it will contain, my name Nishant. Fine. So since it is an object in the name, we cannot make this, or we cannot use map function on this. So if we try this, let's see what we get. So we can say let's say name dot map. It's hard to type because it's not a code editor. So it takes an item. Fine. Let's open curly brackets. And if you want to add enter without triggering the prompt like this, you can add shift plus enter to go to the next line using, okay, now fine, sorry, so we can try it again. So name, we can return item multiplied by 2. So the problem here is, let me just copy and create a new thread here first. Okay, it's already here. So we have two errors in this code. First is the Nishant is an object and we are mapping this name on an object. So that will not work because map takes an array as param, not an object. Secondly, this is a string, so we cannot multiply it by 2. We can only multiply it by 2 when we have a number. So if we press enter, let's see the thing. Okay, let's refresh the page. Try again. Enter. Let's see what we get in this example. I am sorry, but the map method cannot be used on variable that is not an array. Map method is designed to be used on arrays. Fine. So this is the first mistake that it caught. Now let's see second mistake. Okay, second mistake is not here. See, second mistake is here. In the example, map method is called on numbers array and it iterates over each element in the array. You can read this. Basically, it says every element is multiplied by 2, but we cannot multiply a string. So let's try it again. Let me copy all of these or this and paste it. So it's now fine. And let's give it a prompt that what will this code do? So if you have a code snippet and you don't know the use of that, you can consult this ChatGPT and see. So what is this code snippet going to do? Question mark. Now if we click the send message, let's see the result. The code snippet defines an array of numbers called numbers. This, and uses map method to iterate over elements in an array. And each element, it multiplies the element by 2 and returns the result. See. And here is the steps. The number array is defined with values. Map method is called on numbers and it iterates over each element and all. So this is how ChatGPT explains what the code is going to do if you feed it the correct data. So most people think that this ChatGPT is going to take our developer jobs away, but I don't think that's the case. So let's explain why. Let's say I am a developer and my name is Nishant. So I know how all of these things works, like HTTP request in JavaScript, Axios, and what is all of these things that we do in development. But let's say I am not there. There's a person called Sham who wants to make an app, and he is not a developer. He wants to make a request to a server using Axios.post method. And somehow he learned that I can get the code using ChatGPT, using this prompt. But he does not know what is a post request, what is Axios, what JavaScript does, and all of these things that we usually do in development work. So he learns this, that he needs the code for this, and he enters this and presses enter. So he will get this. To make a post request using Axios, you can do axios.post, and it takes two arguments. First is the URL, second is the data. And here's the code. You see this? He sees this axios.post, the link, I mean the endpoint, and the data. Key 1 is the first key, second key is key 2 with the values. Then he sees this, and let's say somehow he pastes this code into his app, which does what he wants to do. And somehow he gets or he posts some data to server. But what will happen if he encountered some error like 401 or 422 or 501? In that case, he won't be able to understand what is this error, what are the errors about, because he's not a developer. Okay, we got a network error, so let's try again. Too many requests, please slow down. Okay, so basically he does all of these things, but he does not know what all these things does. And somehow, let's say he caught himself in the web of errors. So in that case, it will be hard or nearly impossible to get out of it, unless he's a developer and he knows what all of these things does. So if he is learning all of these things, then the developer jobs are not going to be obsolete. It will be there, because that's the job of developers, to research and learn. So you don't need to worry about that this ChatGPT is going to take developer jobs away. So then why do we need this? So for example, let's say we have a certain code that you don't understand. So you can post this here, or sorry, paste this here and see what it does. Or let's say you want a quick code about this, how to make a request in JavaScript, optimized request. Then you can simply type this and you can get the result. So it can be helpful to us developers. So that's what this is about. So now you know how to use ChatGPT to create ideas for 10-year-old's birthday, or how to make an HTTP request in JavaScript, or even to explain quantum computing in simple terms. To use this, simply go to chat.openai.com, then make an account on OpenAI, then that's all. And that's how you can use it to do all of these amazing things that can help you in daily routine or to increase your productivity.